am here sitting today with Lloyd Bumstead, who is the owner currently of the oldest bike shop in America, who has gone through many changes of, I don't know, you wouldn't call it necessarily fads, but standard
Trends.
bicycles, trends,
Trends.
whether those were fat tire bikes back 100 years ago or so when the shop first started, or whether it was 10 speeds back when I was a kid. Maybe it was 17 speed for you, when you were a kid. What was hot when you were in your teens, like?
Teens, early teens BMX.
Right.
People might remember like the on any Sunday motorcycles, BMX bicycles. Just before that, though, was the Stingray, the Apple Crates, kind of the hot rod bikes. And then I kind of bridged that gap between that bike and then the BMX bikes got huge. Then when I was in high school, there was a big resurgence of Schwinn cruisers, the
Yeah.
single speed and five. They even did a 5-speed, but kind of the bike that everybody remembers from the 50s, the big heavy balloon tire bikes. There was a resurgence of those. Um, then mountain bikes got really big.
Oh, yes. Save the industry. Save the
Saved
industry.
the industry.
It
Mountain
would have
bikes
been,
were huge.
gone. Would have been over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lloyd, okay, now that we've gone down the
Memory lane.
history, we have right now one of the hottest products, probably your number one dollar volume item, maybe even unit volume, is electric bikes. And for a lot of people, I think they're still confused as to why people are even buying electric bikes. They're like, I thought a bicycle was supposed to be about recreation and, about getting out and, having a little workout, getting physical. And yet the electric bike is taking over Europe, taking over China, taking over Japan. But in the United States, it's still, it's doing well. It's very popular right now. But what are the reasons? What are people walking into your shop and buying an electric bike? Why are they choosing electric?
I'm the two, three categories that I
Okay.
can think of right off the top of my head. So probably my number one would be someone that hasn't been on a bike in years. They maybe went on vacation and they went to rent bikes at some resort area, and the bikes that were available to rent were electric bikes. And, it could be at a beach city or somewhere, and they get on that thing and they realize this is fun. This is just a lot of fun. So they come in saying, I haven't been on a bike in 20, 30 years, and I've got bad knees. I have had a hip replacement. I'm old. Everything hurts. And I'm starting to relate to that. But anyway, they've rented these bikes, or their neighbor got some, or some friends, or they're in a RV group and they go camping all the time. And some of the other couples have gotten these and they try them and they realize, you know what? Fun, as I've said. I
Yes.
can do this. It doesn't hurt me to do this because I put the assist on. And so they can get out there. Suddenly, then the hills, the headwinds, all the things that when you go on a bike ride and you haven't been on a bike in a while, that it are a detriment to having fun, come into play. This takes it away. A lot of customers, the biggest misconception is kind of like you brought up. It's like, wait a minute, that's cheating. I'm not going to get any exercise if I have one of those. And the bulk of these are not a scooter. It's not throttle only. You do pedal. It has what's called pedal assist. So it senses that the cranks are moving, that you are pedaling, and then you have a way to adjust how much it assists you. A lot of customers will put it on the lowest setting, pedal along, and it just helps them to go a few miles an hour faster than they would have under their own power. So a little lighter touch on the pedals makes it nice.
Mhm.
They come to a big hill, they can adjust up, and now that it's like the hill's not even there. Here in Southern California, there's a lot of neighborhoods, it's hilly. You might live in Colorado or somewhere where there's hills, and that would be a detriment to even, you've got to be in pretty good shape. You know, maybe your house is at elevation and hills.
Yeah,
It's going to take a lot of work to become just a recreational cyclist. The e-bike makes it to where you can, from day one, go on a bike ride and enjoy it. As being an avid bike rider over the years, there's instances where that last 5 miles back to the house or to your car, I call it the death ride home. It's not fun. Whether it's a hill, a headwind, you didn't eat enough, you didn't drink enough, and you got to just put your head down, and it's torture to get back. For myself, okay, that's part of bike riding. It wasn't fun, but I got through it, and that was part of the challenge. For
yeah,
a lot of customers, that's the end. They'll never
right,
get on a bike again.
right.
And the e-bike takes that away. You'll never have the death ride home. Now, I've had some customers, they've had the cell phone they had to call because they got a flat tire. They couldn't get the bike back. But other than that, under your own power, it's never a hard ride to get back. So it just makes it fun
Right.
and takes away all the bads to it.
Yeah. Now, some people say, well, they're so heavy.
Oh,
Um, and I think they're getting lighter though. Isn't that true? Aren't they getting lighter and lighter?
and then, yeah, to the technology aspect of it, again, 10, 15 years ago, these things were horribly heavy. Now with newer technologies, the lithium ion batteries like that we have in all of our products, right? Our vacuums, our drills, our cell phones are all using this technology. Same on the bicycles. The batteries weigh half a third of what they did. They're integrating them into the frames to make it look sleek. The motors have gotten smaller and lighter and more powerful to where there's a lot of electric bikes. You can hardly tell that it's an electric bike, but it sure helps in what we just talked about. So the technologies truly help to make them, even if you turn it off, it rides just like you can't tell. Other than you get to a steep hill where that added, 15, 20 pounds. But yes, you deadlift, you lift the bike up, you can feel the difference.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
out pedaling, you can turn it off and ride it like a regular bike. It rides great.
And then a lot of people are concerned about the actual amount of miles that you can get. So maybe the problem is, oh, I want to go 20 miles and this thing only goes 15. Or maybe I've got the wrong maybe we're talking about 35. I want to go 35 and only go 30. But I'm wondering how often do people really go on that long of a ride anyway?
Yeah, it's interesting. We will get people, they haven't been on a bike 10, 15 years, and they've been doing their research on the internet. And again, in their head, and we all, things I did in my 30s, I can't do in my 60s anymore. In my head, oh yeah, that 50-mile ride, that wasn't that hard a ride. And and yeah, customers come in thinking they want to, oh, but this other bike says it'll go 60 miles on a charge and maybe I'll ride that far. And I'm like, you really want to be on the bike for 3 hours? And they're like, oh yeah, it didn't dawn on me how long I would be sitting on that seat. So, but you do have to watch because the battery is expensive and there's a lot of bikes out there to get the price down. They will put a battery. I think of the battery like a gas tank on your car.
Yeah.
And the bigger the gas tank, the more fuel you can put in it, which will then take you a further distance. And so some companies, to get the price down, you might only be able to go 10 or 15 miles. And ideally, most of these bikes that we sell, you'll go 25 to 40 miles. Some of the manufacturers, like, they'll state, oh, it'll go 50 or 60, but that's flat ground, lightweight rider, lowest pedal assist. They're really stretching the truth there. Everyday mileage, you know, you'd like the bike to go 20 to 40 miles, and that gets you a good range for most people.
Absolutely right. Okay. So you carry a particular brand. You have a few actually,
I
but
have a few brands, yes.
I think your number one is has an odd pronunciation, Aventon.
Aventon, 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 yeah. I guess I forget where they came up with the name. It's Spanish or something, and I can't remember the translation to it, but it's a great company. They have a wide range of products. They've been doing this a long time. They sell online, but also they've got over 800 dealers across the US. They've got dealers in Canada. Um, Critical for these bikes are going to need adjustments, work,
Right.
things fixed on them. I I work on a wide range of electric bikes, and because it's a fairly new technology, there are no standards.
Mm,
Plugs don't match up. I just was testing a bike yesterday, and none of the plugs matched to anything I have here in the store, made it hard to test the rear wheel to see if the hub motor. So if you are looking at these bikes, so you buy $1,000 one because it was such a great deal. 2 years from now, are you willing to throw it away because the company went bankrupt and you can't even find parts on Amazon for it? If you're okay with that, then I like to fix things. I hate to say you have to throw it away. There's no way to fix it. I don't like that.
yeah.
Um, that's probably my biggest pet peeve to the industry is that, come on, guys, really, you can't agree on a plug? We see that with cell phones. Europe finally just said, enough is enough, guys. We got to come up with a universal plug. You guys all can't have different chargers and different plugs. This is stupid.
Yeah.
And our industry kind of is the same way right now. There's just no standardization even on the way things plug into the battery, they plug into the motors, they plug in to the brake lever cutoff switches. So again, I can go on forever on that rant, but as a consumer, you need to consider that. Is the company going to be around in a few years? Our industry is talking about that process going on right now, that some of the companies aren't going to make it and they're going to be
Sure.
gone.
Sure. Yeah.
And
So
that's natural.
you want to go with the good brands. So if people are interested in trying you again a wide variety, you have at least three or four brands there
Yes.
you have different widths of tires, different weights, different comfort levels, different
Yes.
design for different terrains. If folks want to come in and do some test riding, you're in Ontario, you're just a mile off of the 10 freeway and about
Mhm.
maybe 10 minutes off the 60 off of Mountain Avenue.
In Ontario,
So,
California. We're not
and
in Canada.
yeah, and people drive an hour to get to your shop,
Yes.
especially for electric bikes, because you are one of the few shops in Southern California that have such a variety and such knowledge. Even some of the shops that now have a variety haven't been selling them nearly as long as you have. So if you're in the Southern California area, that'd be a great thing to do is to drop by Bumstead's Bikes. If you're not in anywhere close to Bumstead's Bikes, we'll leave some information below in the description where you can actually buy the Aventon bike, and Lloyd will get some credit for doing that online and have it shipped to you. And then you'll still have to you might still have to find a local bike shop to help you put it together, but at least you'll be able to get an Aventon, which is, I think right now you still consider it to be the prime brand.
It's my prime brand. Love them. Great customer service, great product, very innovative in their technologies and what they do. And yeah, it's a very good brand. Again, I do have others, but they've been my number one brand now for about 7 years.
There you go. All right. Lloyd, it's been great talking to you. And
Thank you, Randy.
we will leave that card up also for a couple of other videos that we've recently done dealing with the Trek brand and also with the Fact, all the details of the the 115 years that Bumstead Spikes has been around under the same family, and even the owner's name has been the same. Well, it jumped
Same
around
name.
a little bit, but the same name 115 years ago. Okay. All right, Lloyd, been great.